let's just start right there at that moment. So what kind of company did you have right as, when things were just about to really, hit the fan? What was your company like before the crisis hit?
Well, I didn't have a company back then. I used to work for a broker, and I was 19, 20 years old. I dropped out of college, and I
Okay.
got into the real estate business because I saw these realtors driving Beamers and Mercedes, and my mom and my parents would always tell me, you got to go to college because that's the way to do it. And all the kids I grew up with were getting degrees, graduating, and I would just hear my mom tell me, they just got a degree, this person just got a degree, and that person just got a
Where'd
degree.
you grow up, by the way?
I grew up in Echo Park, downtown LA,
Okay.
in the ghetto, shootings,
Got it.
drug dealing.
Right.
But all these people were graduated, and I was like, man, something wrong with me, or what's going on? And then I found out you have to go, uh, you have to be a lawyer or a doctor in order to make the money that I wanted to make, because I always had big goals and big dreams. So then I see the real estate agents, and I just decide to go into real estate, get my license, and I get into real estate. I hate being a realtor, so I become a mortgage broker.
Right.
So then I started doing loans, and I'm 21, and I go from $9 an hour as a teacher assistant to all of a sudden, my first month, I close 4 deals, and I get a commission check for 16 grand. So I'm 20. I'm like I barely turned 21, and I get a $16,000 check, 1099, and I don't know what 1099 is. I don't know what mortgage. I didn't even know how to do mortgages. But back then, 2006, 2000, late 2005, 2006 was very easy to do mortgages. And I'm just starting, and I'm just doing mortgages. I'm cold calling people, and I start making a lot of money. And then I become like a Mexican, but not so crazy wolf, like party type. Like
Right.
I wasn't partying like quite like you, but pretty close. And I made a lot of mistakes. I drank, I did drugs, I got 3 DUIs, I lost everything. In 2008, I just finally, like, the market gets bad, and then I'm used to, like, I'm partying, I'm spending more money than I make,
Right.
and I just fall and lose everything and become homeless. I ended up in my Ford Explorer.
Wow. Okay. And by for those of you watching on YouTube, I know a lot of you guys are on Spotify. You can't see. This is probably I'm sitting on my arms crossed, which is like considered negative violence. I'm just fucking freezing right now. There's a problem in the office here, and I'm gonna kill someone if I don't fix the freaking heat. Okay. So this is not closed body language. This is self-preservation, pal. So I don't want you to feel like I'm close to
We could
you.
switch if you want.
No, I got a freaking draft here. Okay. Anyway. Okay. So you're at this terrible moment in your life, right? I mean, how close were you to, like, there's a spot that I've been at, right?
Yeah.
Where I overdosed and, went to, went into actually a mental home for a couple
Yeah.
of days. How low did it really go? Did it really, were you at that point where you were thinking about ending it all and never quite there? You can get pretty dark when you're on drugs like that,
Well, a lot of times I felt like, you know what, this is this is the end of it. And I remember one time when I just hit the most rock bottom, I was up all night, and
It's usually after that when you say it's time to end it all. That was mine. I was up all
yeah,
night,
I mean,
like 4 nights, yeah.
I was doing a little bit of lines.
Yeah, a little
and,
bit? I guess in
mean,
my book it's probably a little bit.
I mean,
yeah.
quite a bit,
All right.
quite a bit.
How
And-
much?
And I mean, maybe like an 8 ball.
Okay,
So
like we consider that like a warm-up session in
but-
the old days.
but,
But keep
um,
going. Anyway,
But it lasted like about a year that I was into that, and
I
I
get it.
and I had a lot of fun. But I mean, I could have died. I could have killed myself, because you drink, and then that takes away
Yeah.
the drunkenness, and then you just keep doing it and doing it.
Yeah.
So I didn't sleep for an entire day. It was like 36 hours awake, and I decided the next day in the morning, I'm good because I'm under the influence, so I'm gonna drive. I'm driving
and
away.
you kill someone else, by the way, and besides yourself too.
You could, yeah. And I fall asleep. I close my eyes for a minute, and I hit a car, and I'm like, shit. And then the guy pulls over. I'm like, what do I do? Do I just jam? Do I stop? So I stop. Then a police officer gets there, and then I'm like, fuck, like, is this it? Because that would have been my 4th DUI. And the funny thing is that the cop got there, and it was like so early in the morning, the sun's out. I got my shades, and I looked like so refreshed, I guess, from the drugs.
He didn't know.
And they I don't know, nothing happened. So they either ignored it, or I did a pretty good acting job, and they cited me. I didn't have insurance. I only had $7,000 in my bank account back then, and this was 2008 and 9, going into 2009. So those $7,000 had to go to fix that bumper, and then I ended up with no money. And then that moment was the moment where I said, you know what, this is it. Like I'm never gonna do cocaine again, and I got to change my life, or else I might as well just die.